What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 4 of the Big Red Barrelcast. I'm one of your hosts, PacManPolarBear, coming to you from Ottawa, Canada. One of my brothers from another mother in the UK, Kev, is here as well.
Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg.
DuckTales reference right at the get-go. And coming to you from the States is the man, the audio god, Dave.
Me! And, in episodes 2 and 3, we stood up for the ladies. That's what we did. And I think it's time for some reciprocation on that front. And we need to have some equality in a very important facet of everyone's life, or in almost everyone's life. And I think men everywhere will agree with me when it comes to getting f***ing traffic tickets. We need some equality there. I can't tell you how many girls have told me they've gotten out of traffic tickets because look, I undid a button, or I started crying. You know what happens if you're a dude and you start crying? Nothing. You get the ticket and now you're crying, and then the dude laughs at you with his buddies later, and then maybe you get told about at some retirement speech. I don't know, but there needs to be some equality when it comes to getting a speeding ticket.
I'm not touching this with a barge pole. You carry on. I'll be over here. Not getting in trouble.
I'm just saying, if you are an officer of the law and you come up to my window and you're going to give me a ticket and I say something funny and you laugh, I should get out of the ticket.
All this to say is, I think Dave recently got a ticket.
I did, so. And it upset me. And then girls are like, "Oh, why didn't you just cry?" And I'm like, "What good is that going to do me?" And then the worst part is, because girls can hit on guy cops. If a woman cop rolls up on you and you hit on her, you are automatically a pig because you assume that whatever.
Damn, dude. Dave does not handle getting tickets.
Apparently I'm just saying, it is impossible for a man to get out of a speeding ticket, and women do it all the time. This is an injustice. If they can be equal online, then we can be equal when it comes to getting speeding tickets. I was only going 7 miles over the speed limit. Come on.
I will say that the one thing of that I'll put my neck out for is dudes crying just doesn't have the same clout or power, because men do not respond well to tears most of the time, especially from another dude.
No, they don't.
The biggest revelation here so far is that your cops actually laugh sometimes. Yes. They've got a sense of humour. That doesn't happen here.
I mean, if I was a cop in Texas, I'd laugh a lot too.
Wait a minute. So, you talking about cops or traffic wardens?
Traffic wardens? That sounds like something from an RPG, dude. That's really what they're called?
No, son. We have traffic wardens that are not actually police. They work for the council. It's their job to go and make sure no one's parked in the wrong place.
Wait a minute. The council, like at XCOM? They're there to make sure the alien threat is subdued?
The council, as in the people that run the city, Dave.
Oh, okay.
Damn. Okay, moving on from crying and getting out of parking tickets, or speeding tickets, rather.
I want justice!
We had 2 games come out this past week, God of War Ascension and Gears of War Judgment, neither of which any of us have picked up yet. Not because we're not interested in them, but just because A, we haven't gotten around to it, and B, both those games are sort of those series are getting sort of long in the tooth in terms of releases, so it's hard.
Biggest lumps of superfluous chuff I've ever seen in my life.
Just say what you mean. If you play God of War 2, you've played God of War Ascension. If you play Gears of War 1, you played Gears of War Judgment. The only redeeming value of the Gears of War Judgment disc I hold in my hand right now is the fact that it's got more Coltrane, baby. Woo!
Yeah. But I mean, even Dave hasn't had a chance to get around to rocking out some Gears of War yet. But I mean, both those games, solid games, I'm sure. Fun games, I'm sure. Games we'll all get around to playing, but they're just, it's hard to get the same level of excitement for the next God of War or Gears of War after there's been so many in a relatively short amount of time.
I don't know. It's not as bad as some other games like Assassin's Creed that comes out every year. I mean, Gears of War is like, every 2.5 years you get one. God of War is about the same. So it's not as repetitive as some of the others, but it's getting up there.
Oh yeah, they're definitely they're not like sports games or shooters.
And they're also not big fans of innovation. I mean, the last Gears of War gave us the Horde mode, which is, I think we can all agree, pretty fun.
It's just that they're unnecessary stories.
You're unnecessary.
You're unnecessary. And I've lost it.
Both of you, grab the sides of your face and shut it.
Wow, look who's wearing the big pants today.
He's pulling the bollocks out today, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Jesus, some Canadian
I'm doing
balls.
whatever I can to distract from this agenda that we've all sort of been making fun of before we recorded the show. Because this is PAX week. But just like most of the big conventions have gotten in recent years until the new consoles are actually out, new games for them come out, there's not a lot of news. There was a whole lot of, we might say something at PAX, and then PAX showed up and all most people said was, here's a teaser for E3, basically.
Yeah, we have a panel. Please come to it.
So the core of the agenda this week is more just housekeeping stuff that we're just going to riff on. I mean, basically the only game from PAX that actually dropped a significant amount of actual news, dates, releases, content was Borderlands 2.
Yay!
Borderlands 2, in terms of, actually coming to PAX with stuff for the fans, I mean, they won PAX in that regard. So you got, first up, Borderlands 2, new playable class, Psycho Bandit named Krieg, $10 coming out in May. I can't imagine anyone who plays Borderlands isn't interested in having a new character to play.
I'm not really interested in this because, let's face it, you play Borderlands for the guns, and this guy's got a melee thing. Ain't nobody got time for that.
What is his special ability? I don't know.
He has like a stick that he hits people with, and apparently it makes him regain health as he hits people with the stick.
Oh, so he's basically the Berserker from the first game.
Yeah, he is. The Berserker they got rid of because nobody really liked the Berserker.
Oh man,
powers.
He's all I played in the first game. I just ran around constantly punching things going,
Burning Fists of Rage!
Burning Fists of Rage. See, and now that's going to be the name of a new JRPG.
There you go.
There you go.
And apparently he looks like a bandit, because that's what I want to play as, is a guy who looks like the cannon fodder I chew to pieces with my automatic weapons in Borderlands 2.
I have already put so much time into my stealth dude. What's he called? Zero. That guy. I put so much time into him already, I don't know if I'm ready to pick up another class yet.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, speaking of putting more time into the game, Borderlands 2 is getting a second new game plus. So this time, you've beaten the game once, beaten the game twice, now you're going for your third playthrough on Ultimate Vault Hunter mode.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
For level 50 plus, higher difficulty, it comes out April 2nd, and it's free for everybody.
Yeah.
I'm
up
down
for it.
So that's a nice little thing. Something for free for everybody is good. And then to back that up, the level increase, the level cap increase is going to go up to level 61. And that comes out on April 2nd, and that's for $5. So you get, I guess, an 11 level bump. And Borderlands 2 campaign DLC is coming in June.
Woo!
And then the thing that I think made me the happiest was, when we talk about video game movies, it's almost always crap. Same thing with comic book movies. But I found that both comic books and video games, their best movies come in the form of animated films. And there's a Borderlands movie being made by 2K Gearbox and AAU, which is some art university. I can't remember what it stands for. It's really basic. Can't believe I can't remember. But they're working on an animated short film set in Borderlands, and it's supposed to come out in 2013.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever really liked an animated movie based on a video game that I've seen. I can't remember one. Most of the ones I like are webisodes that they put it's like a little 10-minute thing. There's probably a couple of them, and they put a lot of effort into it. Those are usually what the best is.
The Dead Space ones were pretty bad.
Yeah, they were awful.
But there's been a few, like there's for example, there's the Halo anime was good.
But wasn't that a bunch of shorts though? Like a series of shorts?
It was sort of like the Animatrix. Yeah,
so basically, I'm still right.
But then there's been some other ones, like there's one for Mass Effect, there's one for Dragon Age, there's what other animated ones are there? Well, of course, there's the Chronicles of Riddick animated one, although that's
a video game.
Sort of based on the movie, but it fits in the canon between the games and the movie.
Now you're just say, Dave, you were right, and we'll move on from there. Dave was correct.
Dave, you were right. Let's move on.
Yes, because Pac-Man's reaching now. He's like, there was an X-Men cartoon once, and it kind of was based on a...
Well, no, I mean, those are big games, like Mass Effect, BioWare, Mass Effect, Dragon Age, then you've got... what was the crazy violent one? Dante's Inferno was... arguably, that the animated movie was better than the game. Anyway, moving on. The other game that was the complete opposite in terms of news and breaking new content to the fans was XCOM. They haven't said it, but they're like, XCOM's like, you know what? We're working on something, and it's going to take us a little while, but stay tuned for PAX, because we'll have something to say at PAX. And everyone's like, oh, cool, we'll finally get some actual DLC content for XCOM, because let's be real, Second Wave was just adding new options to the game, and the Slingshot DLC was not worth the money. It was basically one character and 3 missions that didn't really do or add anything to the game. So we've been waiting for XCOM to do something good.
Yeah.
And XCOM shows up, and they're like, here's a teaser. Doesn't really say if it's a DLC or expansion or a new game. Just like it's a teaser of the council, that faceless voice with just the shadow background talking about there's a new force that we're going to need you to fight sometime, somewhere. Enjoy.
Whatever. I loved XCOM. I'm in. Shut up and take my money, 2K.
Yeah.
Like, just tell me what... Like, I mean, I need something, because I played the hell out of that. I mean, I've got 100% in XCOM.
We're all agreed that XCOM was the best game of last year, right?
Hell yeah.
I hadn't played it when I had to make my Game of the Year prediction, but after I played it, I was like, God, I mean, it's addictive. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's gotten really good since with the patches.
Oh yeah, so it's magically delicious is XCOM, and I don't even need to see the trailer. I'm like, just put it on the Xbox Live Marketplace. I'll buy it. Take my Microsoft Space Bucks.
Yeah.
Or if it's a new game, even better.
I mean, I kind of want them to do a big expansion. Like a $30 expansion rather than just a couple little DLC packs.
I hope you get Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum. DLC.
Oh, no, that would be good.
Yes.
No Jaden Smith, though.
No, he wasn't around in...
He hasn't proven himself to me as a superstar yet.
Dude, I'm talking about Independence Day. That dude, I don't even think that kid was a tickle in Will Smith's nutsack when that movie came out.
Just get the whole cast of Independence Day back. What's the Jewish dad name?
Oh,
Is it Judd something?
Judd Hurst.
Judd Hurst.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude, seriously, dude. Get Bill Pullman. He's now the leader of the council.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
I think we've struck gold here. Someone get 2K.
Seriously, we got ideas, 2K. Call us up,
Just
man.
take XCOM and Independence Day and make them a sandwich.
Make a big, sexy sandwich.
But in terms of the other XCOM news, it was all stuff that, yeah, it's cool, but it's not really announcement wait for PAX worthy, like they kind of led us to believe. So XCOM's coming for the Mac April 25th, which is sweet. Good for the people who have a Mac, I guess.
Yeah.
XCOM troops are going to be available in Civilization 5.
Civilization
5.
I'm up for that. I love Civ 5. Always up for new troops.
So you can build the XCOM project in Civ 5 now.
That'll be flipping brilliant, and I'm really looking forward to the new expansion that's coming out for that as well.
Which, I mean, that's a pretty obvious crossover. I wish they would do more of Civilization. Just like, having XCOM troops fight in Civ 5, flying down in the... what is the ship called in XCOM?
I can't remember.
Oh, I can't remember either. But anyway, it's in the Civ 5 edition as well, and that's coming later this year. And of course, XCOM is coming to the iPad and the iPhone, which again is cool for people with the iPad or the iPhone. But you really owe it to yourself to play it on the PC, because it looks like, especially on the phones, the UI is obviously going to be changed so that you can see more of the screen, and the iPad is going to have some changes as well. But I'm not sure on the specifics of how much, but some of them, both versions, or maybe just the phone version, will have fewer levels and a little bit less content. So you really do owe it to yourself to play it on your PC if you can.
You know what else needs to happen? Starship Troopers DLC. Let's get Michael Ironside in there. You know, it's time to take the fight to the aliens. We're going back to P to capture that brain. We're going to do it! And Neil Patrick Harris is going to be there.
I just had a thought. Do you know what would be a really good game to throw Starship Troopers expansion into?
What?
Was that?
Dead Space.
Oh yeah, that would fit.
The mechanics of it all would work very well. The engine, it would work very well.
What does he say? Come on, you what?
Come on, you apes! You want to live forever?
That's it. It was going to bug me all day if I didn't ask. Next up, we've got a release date announcement for Fuse from Insomniac, May 28th this year. And Fuse has skewed between the name change and the sort of, I don't know, I just don't see anyone getting hyped for this game at all.
Everyone's kind of forgot it's coming out, haven't they?
Yeah, but I mean, it's coming from Insomniac, who I love. I like their games.
Yeah,
they've always been really good at one thing in particular, which is making crazy ass weapons. Fuse looks like it has crazy ass weapons, but the shift from comedy-ish focused game to a more serious type shooter seems to have left a lot of people sort of, I don't know, resenting a game that they hadn't even gotten yet for some reason. But
yeah. I blame the Sony hype train because, well, let's face it hasn't left the station since the PS4 announcement.
Yeah, I mean, Fuse could be really good, but man, does no one seem to give a damn.
But this isn't even Sony exclusive anymore. Fuse is coming out multi-platform.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you would have thought they'd give it a bit of attention, but apparently not.
Well, all I can say is I hope they get, a commercial campaign and an ad spot campaign between now and May 28th, which isn't very far away.
No, especially since they're not going to be able to promote it at E3.
As I recall, it's coming out through EA Partners, so given that company don't even have a CEO at the moment, it's not surprising. Just saying.
We're going to get to that. Next thing that I thought was funny, and this, last week we had a petition that actually had, it was about getting the numbers and then bringing concrete plans to developers to get them to make changes. This week, it's just a petition. But it's a good one, even if it won't do anything. But there's a SimCity petition on change.org, which specifically says remove the always online requirement from SimCity and future games, and it has 75,000 people who have signed it so far.
Ladies and gents, welcome back to the Barrelcast Bitches About SimCity segment that we like to do weekly.
The Burbcast SimCity bitch sessions, yay!
SimCity has added a couple. They've had 2 big patches since the last time we talked, and the game's still broken. Don't kid yourself. I have 4 cities, all sitting around 100,000, coming close to 200,000 apiece, and they're beautifully well designed. Everything's supposed to work the way they're supposed to. They're all connected, and things still run like The idea of trying to build a great wonder in that game, or great work in that game right now, makes me cry inside.
I still haven't gone back to play it again yet.
Ugh. Well, I mean, I those cities have been up since I dropped my review. I just logged in for a couple hours the last couple days just to see if anything changed. And now it's still heaping piles.
You want to tell the podcast listeners what score you gave it?
Oh, I think it might be one of the lowest scores we've ever given on the site, but I gave SimCity 1 out of 5 barrels.
Woo!
Yeah.
And if go hit up the site, read the review, because it's probably the most vicious thing I've ever written in terms of a review. It might even be one of the meanest things I've ever written, period. I mean, I was surprised that Tim, who edited the article, left in the F-bombs, because I thought they were apt.
Yeah. It's also worth noting that in our review rubric, a 1 means kind of either unplayable or so broken that you shouldn't really be touching it. And that game, whether at the same time or at different times, has been both of those things.
But I think the best news from this year's PAX, I don't even think this is absolutely the best news from PAX, is DuckTales.
Yeah,
DuckTales remastered.
Gonna solve a mystery and rewrite history. DuckTales, woo!
All I can remember is that Family Guy episode where Peter dives into a vault full of gold coins and just like horribly breaks his spine and his body.
Just face plants, and it's like, this doesn't like water at all.
Because Scrooge McDuck from DuckTales used to dive into a vault full of gold coins. But this game is part of our childhoods. I mean, if you're a kid who was born, before, in the 80s, DuckTales is from 1989 on the NES. And they're remaking it, and it's not just a slight HD remake. They dropped a bunch of video of DuckTales Remastered, and it looks beautiful.
It really does.
And it really looks good. They've added new elements to the game. So for the boss fights, for example, whereas before they would have one attack, now there's multiple stages to the boss fights. I mean, they've taken it beyond just upping the graphics. And have really fleshed out the game, and it's coming for the Xbox Live, PSN, and the Wii U, and no release date yet. But damn, I mean, it really does look good. And they showed up. They had 7 minutes of video footage that went out to different websites, and there's a trailer. I'm super happy.
As are we all.
I don't know. I'm getting tired of these stupid remastered things. Go make new games, people. Give me new IPs. I want new IPs.
Screw you. More 8 and 16-bit remasterings. Let's do that.
Well, what they need to do is there's such a big gulf between the quality of these different HD remasters. Like the one for Baldur's Gate Enhanced that recently came out.
Yeah.
That was for the price. That didn't really bring a lot to the table.
Well, how much are you expecting to pay for this DuckTales Remastered?
How much would I pay? I don't know.
How much did you pay? Would you drop 5 on it?
I definitely drop 5.
Would you drop 10 on it?
I think you could argue 10.
I would drop 10. I might even go as high as 15.
Woo!
That might be going a bit too far.
Big spender.
But I mean that's the kind of thing where that final judgment of how much we want to pay, I'd have to see how well it got reviewed and stuff.
Well, how long is the game? Because I mean, I like games from that era. I played what was it, Streets of Rage? You could beat that in like 2 hours.
True. But if I recall correctly, it does have a significant amount of content, and I'm not positive, but I have a feeling they probably added, some significant time just adding little things to that game that cumulatively add up. Anyway, but I want some good HD remakes and not the bad ones.
I want some new IPs. goddammit. That's what I want. New IPs. Good ones.
I want both.
There's room for both.
Yeah. Speaking of HD remakes, we've got the Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy X2 remakes are actually going to come to North America, so PS3 and Vita. So on the PS3, the two games we bundled together. On the Vita, they'll be sold separately.
Have they finally given a date for this, or not?
I don't think so. There's no hard date.
Oh, for Christ's sake. You gotta understand, half the reason I bought my Vita was because I knew Final Fantasy X was getting re-released on it.
Well, I mean, you gotta hand it to Square Enix. It is Square Enix that makes Final Fantasy, right?
Yeah.
You gotta hand it to them just for the fact that when it comes to their most famous Final Fantasy, so 7, 10, basically all of them except for online, they've remastered and remaked and re-released and subgenred their own games so many times, and people are still buying them. And to give to their credit, the HD remakes of Final Fantasy X and X2 have gotten good reviews in Japan, and they look really great.
So wait, according in contrary to what Kev believes, Square Enix actually wants to make money?
It's not true. They don't want money. That's why they haven't released them anywhere other than Japan yet. And they're not doing the Final Fantasy VII thing.
Does it seem like sometimes that Square Enix uses the money it makes from its great games to pay for all of its significantly less great games? Because Square Enix, their idea of game development is just buckshot.
I'd prefer them to do that instead of a Kickstarter.
Oh my god, I'm so tired of Kickstarters.
Kickstart my heart!
At this point, let's just wait and see how all these Kickstarters we've already started end up. Because we haven't really seen a lot of returns on most on a lot of these games yet. There's still ways out before we see if Kickstarter actually produces games that we all kind of want them to be.
And even the ones that have come out so far have been kind of mediocre.
Yeah, there hasn't been some landslide hit yet.
I mean, Strike Suit Zero was a game I reviewed for the site going back 2-3 months ago now, and I was really looking forward to that game. And it looked promising, and it turned out to be just run-of-the-mill. It had issues.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like Kickstarter is backing a whole bunch of games that are going to be that are what I don't know we'd call $30 titles, brand new. I mean, they're not AAA, but they're not indie anymore, or not indie in terms of size that we sort of attribute to indie. Moving on to basically what's become the new reality is China is buying all our stuff. Epic Games, 48.8% of Epic Games is now owned by Chinese internet company Tencent, and they paid $330 million for it.
Why is this in our news? It happened last year.
It did?
Yeah, man. I just noticed this on the agenda and suddenly thought I should point it out. This happened last year.
Oh shit! See, this is what happens when. Oh no, it says Friday, March 2013. But yeah, it is weird. Oh, it was announced last year.
Oh,
it just actually happened this year.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, you scared me for a second there. I'm like, oh shit, did I put something on the agenda that was a year ago?
Still.
Epic? Well, guess what? They own 49% straight up of this show. We got to beat Epic. We got to beat.
Oh.
We's getting paid.
But I don't know if that'll even have much of an impact on Epic Games the way some people are sort of worried.
Maybe there will be an Asian person in the next Gears of War game.
There should have already been, but
the current theory is that Epic are between this buyout, well, not really buyout, but a lot of their shares being bought out by this Chinese company, and adding to that fact the fact that maybe virtually all of Epic's creative talent have kind of left the company now. The theory is they're getting out of game production and just going straight into Unreal 4 and concentrating on that.
Yeah. But the news that it's a Chinese company and that they spent this much money and everything, that doesn't really mean a lot, because if you look into the companies that back certain developers or certain companies or which company owns which, there's a lot of hands in a lot of pies when it comes to getting a AAA game out to market.
Yeah, there's a lot.
But I mean, in terms of Epic Games switching towards working on their engine more, I mean, I could see that. There's a lot of money in that.
It seems to be their primary business at the moment, so I'm not surprised. They've done pretty much what they came out to do with Gears of War. That's over and done with now, hopefully.
Yeah.
I don't think Unreal, the game franchise, is going anywhere. Unreal Tournament kind of flopped with Unreal Tournament 3, so yeah, there's not a whole lot left for them to do. I suppose even they were
How
going
about another Bulletstorm game, huh?
No, because that didn't sell well, Dave. That's why they got People Can Fly to make Judgment instead.
But it was pretty entertaining. I enjoyed it.
It was great. I loved Judgment. I loved Bulletstorm.
I don't know. I take points away from any game that makes me fight giant plants.
It was pretty fun, though, man.
Mass Effect makes you fight giant plants.
I know.
So you take
some of the worst. I mean, giant plants is like, is the same thing as throwing in spiders in an RPG.
But it had such interesting swear words.
I gotta admit, the combos they used were kind of ridiculous for the swear.
And I enjoyed the multiplayer. It was fun.
Well, you must have. I played it considerably after it came out, and there was no one playing anymore, so I didn't even really get to experience it.
I did have a good time with it, though.
The multiplayer was fun. It's, if you could find a couple of people to play with, it's pretty damn fun. It's a lot of blood, a lot of guts, a lot of kicks and power slides. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and didn't he have that power lasso or whatever it was?
It's like a Motley Crue concert. Kicks and power. It's all awesome.
White trash, yay!
You got to do some pretty fun stuff by the end of that game. But also, the other thing with Epic is that they had that new Infinity Blade game, the dungeon crawling one, slated to be released, but then laid off the entire team making that. So
that doesn't mean it's not coming out. Army of Two is still coming out.
Well,
and they closed down a studio.
Man, that I have a question for you guys. Are you going to play Army of 3?
I might rent it. I won't buy it.
I don't know. That it seems like a game that I'll play when I'm visiting a buddy's house.
Right. So congratulations, EA. You get no money out of us on that one.
Well, I enjoy the co-op of it all. I enjoy co-op games like that. I think they're a lot of fun, especially with the super cool aggro system that somebody needs to buy and use in their game.
Well, I said on BRB UK this week that it's a bit of a heresy. It's not really a heresy, but I'm going to use the word anyway. It's a bit of a heresy that they got to a third game. Because the first game was so just whatever. It was another third-person shooter, and then the second game came out, and I don't know about you guys, I can't even remember when that was.
Well, the problem is that there's things about it, like working with your buddy in a built from the ground up co-op thing is cool. The aggro system and stuff is cool, but the fact that the AI that's attached so that it fits within the way they want the system to work, the AI in the game is pretty garbage. The visuals are pretty garbage. Story's pretty garbage. I mean, basically, the co-op little thing that they want to sell the game on works, but everything around it has been crappy up to this point. Maybe the new one will be the game the first two were supposed to be, but I don't think anyone's really holding out hope that it will be.
Do you know what the main characters that you play as are called in this one?
Alpha and Bravo.
Yes.
And you get to team up with another team, which is Bob and Big Boy.
No, it's Big Boy and Andre 3000.
No, it's not Andre 3000.
Isn't it Andre 3000?
No.
Well, Tim was convinced it was both of the members of Outcast.
Oh.
No. Big Boy is from Outcast.
Yeah.
See, they should have brought in 50 Cent from 50 Cent Blood in the Sand. They already got the character models made.
Dude, that guy doesn't have to work
So you got
anymore.
one of the guys from Outcast who is sort of still kind of famous and still sort of kind of popping.
Dude,
and
when was
Bob,
the last time Outkast put out an album? Speaker Box and The Love Below, like 4 or 5 years ago?
No, but Big Boy's been dropping stuff the last couple of years. But either way, neither one of them are A, rap artists that are super, super poppin', and B, neither one of them are really the kind of musical talent or celebrities that you want to attach to an Army of Two game to get the crowd interested.
Hell no. Put Michael Ironside in there and the dude who plays Coltrane. I'm in!
Well, just get the entire Wu-Tang clan paying as a PMC. Let's do this.
That would be sick. Wu-Tang would get people interested, but Big Boy and Bob and B.O.B., I just and not to mention the fact that then we got inflicted the terrible music video inspired trailer by the two of them for the game is just awful.
How about Dre and Snoop? Can Dre and Snoop do it?
You know what? Snoop, no matter what he does, is always cool. So
Yeah, son.
Or maybe throw in some Ice Cube? Yay!
yeah, Ice Cube again, always cool. And I think our last main issue story of the week is the kind of good news that EA, depending who you are and how you think about it, the EA CEO, John
Riccatello.
Riccitello. Whatever.
I can't remember.
That Italian guy. Francesco De Pazzi.
EA CEO stepped down. Whether or not there's some people in the industry who are like, he was a groundbreaker, and he's one of the guys who championed games as a service, which is one of the things I hate. Games as a service is a catch-22. It sounds good and it sounds really bad at the same time. And he was one of the champions of that sort of idea. And he's reigned over some pretty big disasters at EA. So, we got SimCity most recently, Star Wars The Old Republic, which I can't stress this enough how much of a bath they took on that game. That game, I'm not even sure that they've recouped their development costs from that game yet.
I think they have.
It must have just been recently.
Yeah, I think the free-to-play stuff's done pretty well for them, despite the terrible implementation.
Well, can you really blame EA for that? I mean, that might be on BioWare's side, because they made it.
Well, I mean, that's something you can attribute to him as well. I mean, the acquisition of the company that owned BioWare by EA, so EA owns BioWare now. BioWare has gone from being what was originally a one development house, which then became a two development studios with under the BioWare brand, which were making the core BioWare games. Now BioWare has been spread out into, I think, 4 or maybe even 5 different satellite little things, and they've attached the BioWare name to everything from Command and Conquer to their core brands. And BioWare isn't really a name that you can say, oh, it's a BioWare game, it's going to be great anymore.
Yeah, I think they've retracted on that a little more now, but it was a pretty weird decision to make.
Well, here's the thing for me. Like, BioWare made Knights of the Old Republic, right?
Yep.
They haven't made a good Star Wars game since, but for some reason, EA kept saying, hey, you need to make this Star Wars game. And I never understood that. Like, The Force Unleashed came out, it was pretty cool. It wasn't great, but, it was like, hey, this is a cool game where you get to unleash your Jedi powers on people. And then they came out with the second one, and it was,
It was 5 seconds long.
Yeah, and then they came out with, and then they're doing the Old Republic. And I'm like, why do we need an MMO? And why are they doing it? And Dragon Age, I don't like that game. And, I never understood why they kept making BioWare make Star Wars games. It's like, why don't you get somebody else to do it?
Well, I think what happened is, when you talk about Knights of the Old Republic, the first one, LucasArts again was very powerful then, and they were still owned just by themselves. Like, Disney hadn't yet bought in LucasArts, and they basically gave BioWare an incredible amount of leeway to basically create a whole new storyline, segment of the franchise.
Yeah,
and that was where a lot of the brilliance from Knights of the Old Republic came from. And as the series progressed, and as Star Wars progressed, and BioWare had a lot more hands controlling what they were doing, I think oversight and a limited view of what Star Wars, the LucasArts, and what EA would allow them to do with the licenses changed a lot of things. If BioWare had just been able to build the games they wanted without a lot of influence, I think the series would have been quite a bit different.
Yeah, and people forget that the Old Republic was started years and years and years ago. Star Wars Galaxies was still going pretty strong at the time.
But John Riccitello, or whatever,
peace out, homie,
pronounce his name,
Riccitello.
He, I'm kind of glad that he's gone, because this is a guy who's had those infamous YouTube videos leak where he was talking about how they were going to turn games into a service and how they were going to be aggressive with micro DLC and all this sort of stuff. So I'm kind of glad that he's gone, but I'm kind of worried that whoever takes his place is just going to be more of the same, because I think that's where the industry is going more than just where he wanted it to go.
Also, keep in mind, John Riccitello, for all of the bad things that he's known for at EA, he also introduced Dead Space. He took a chance to introduce Dead Space. He took a chance to introduce Mirror's Edge. And he took a chance to bring Battlefield into the Bad Company franchise. All of which I think were really bloody good games.
They were. I mean, he was willing to take risks, which is something more than you can say about most CEOs, really.
Yeah, he actively came up to that position as CEO and said, look, I'm going to try and change the direction that EA have been going. I'm going to try and do some new things. Some of them weren't well received. Some of them were. I think that's the risk you take when you take that job, and obviously he's had... I mean, the Old Republic was just a nightmare situation for him.
The other thing is, more and more CEOs of tech companies, like back in the day, you didn't know who the head of a certain company was. You didn't really care. But now, when you take on a CEO position at top of EA or top of Sony or one of those companies, the public knows who you are, and you can, and you not only do you have to be good at your job, you have to be able to deal with the public and the brutality of the public sometimes, especially when it comes to EA.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like there's things that we all love about EA. And even some of the decisions he made, and there's a lot of stuff we hate about it too, and that's just life. And I guess our big topic for this week, because despite it being PAX, there wasn't really a lot of big stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about genres coming back from the grave, and we're going to kickstart it off talking about Broken Age, which is the $3 million plus dollar Kickstarter game from Tim Schafer's Double Fine Studios, and he's bringing back point-and-click adventure games.
Yay!
And I know, just like everyone listening, I've just been sitting around going, you know what I miss? Point-and-click adventure games circa 1982 that we willingly left in the dust. To to his credit, the art looks kind of cool, and it's about a parallel story about a young girl and a young boy leading parallel lives. So the little girl chosen by her village to be sacrificed by a terrible monster, but she decides to fight back, and the boy lives on a spaceship in a solitary life under the care of a motherly computer, but he wants to break free.
I love Clash of the Titans, and that's what this is.
Clash of the Titans.
If there's a unicorn somewhere that needs to be broken, that's what it is, man. That's what it is. And a mechanical owl. There needs to be that, too.
Are either of you fans of point-and-click adventure games, or miss them to any sort of high degree?
I enjoyed them when I was a kid, but...
Yeah. Leisure Suit Larry was the bomb.
Leisure Suit Larry, yes.
I remember having a great time with the first Broken Sword.
It's just... I understand the nostalgia, and who am I to say that one genre shouldn't come back? I mean, there's definitely obviously fans of that. And given the fact that it raised $3 million, there's obviously some interest there for this game. But I kind of feel like modern RPGs and modern adventure games have sort of done what we always wanted when we were playing point-and-click adventures back in the day. What we wanted was 3D interactive adventure games and stuff like that, and we've got that. So... is this just more of digging up history to make a buck?
No, I mean, The Walking Dead
that seems like Kickstarter's thing.
The Walking Dead is ostensibly a point-and-click adventure game, and that was flipping brilliant. That was my second favourite game of last year.
Yeah, but you know that the writing in this game is not going to be that good.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
I don't know. Double Fine, Tim Schafer's team, they write some good dialogue.
Double Fine have done some good stuff. Psychonauts is still one of the best written games of all time, probably.
You know what he should do? He should have taken the money, made a director's cut of Brutal Legend, and taken out all the strategy crap.
The thing is, they built that game from day one to be an RTS... well, not an RTS game, but, you know, like a... well, yeah, I guess like a real-time strategy game, but in third person. And it was terrible when that game came out, and that was not advertised at all.
No, it wasn't. They didn't, and I played demos of that at E3 and at PAX. And every video they showed, it was always, just a God of War clone with Jack Black running around saying the funny things. And then you get it and you're like, oh, this sucks.
Apparently they were outright told by Vivendi and then after that EA that they weren't allowed to show those parts. They just had to show the brawling bits. So when it came out, people were shocked and went, what have we paid for? This is a terrible RTS game. But in actual fact, it's quite good when you actually sit down and learn how to play it. You just got to go in without that expectation that it's a fun little brawler.
You know what else is surprising? Aliens Colonial Marines had DLC.
Yeah, and still does, and they've got big plans for patching it. And
guys, let's not give that game any more attention than it deserves, which is none.
Back to Broken Age, the only console it's launching on is the Ouya. It'll be available for the Ouya.
Because they don't want to make any money. Tim Schafer, you silly
Holy
goofball.
Crap! Have they actually said that?
Yeah, well, it'll be the only console it'll be available for at launch.
That is insane.
Which isn't to say it won't come to PC and the other consoles, but Ouya is the only one that they've nailed down right now.
Wow.
Which again is crazy. You'd think that the idea is more places that sell your game, the better. But moving on from just the point-and-click adventure games, is there any genres that you guys want to see come back? And would you rather them be a Kickstarter-backed game, or would you rather them be something that has a full budget behind it? And by full budget, I mean like a AAA level budget.
Well, the two I want to see come back are already on their way. I just don't know how it's going to work out.
What about Incredible Crisis?
Matt, that was never a genre. That was a piece of unbridled amazement that came out. No one knew it existed, and then it disappeared again. Now I can't seem to find it anywhere.
Now, but which genres do you think are coming back then?
Shadowrun Returns is coming out at some point, and I'm really looking forward to that because I did used to like those pointy clicky games, and pointy clicky is a pretty terrible description, but like Fallout.
Yeah.
Top down isometric.
That's the stuff. Yeah, that was better worded than I did.
Yeah.
And also I like space sims, man. I like the space sims from the 90s. I just always wanted them to drag themselves up to date with the rest of the genres, and they never did. And I hoped that Strike Suit Zero would be that game. It turned out it wasn't.
Do you think there's a perfect example, because Strike Suit was a Kickstarter.
Yes.
Do you think if Strike Suit had been a AAA developed game with like a huge budget, it would have been better?
Well, that's the thing, is that space sims aren't going to get a AAA budget at this point in time.
Well, I know, but we're talking what ifs.
All right, well, in the world of hypotheticals, yes, I think in this day and age with a tens of millions of dollars budget, it would be flipping great.
You know, because I even remember you saying that, you know, some more time cooking and some more polish would have made that game significantly better.
Absolutely, and I'm really hoping that the one that pulls it out for me is Star Citizen. That
Star
looks
Citizen,
really goddamn promising.
Which is where I was going to go with this topic is Chris Roberts, who's making Star Citizen, made the Wing Commander series, and which, you know, pretty much in terms of space sims with a story is the best ever made.
Hells yeah.
The Wing Commander series is still really, really good. You can even buy a couple of the Wing Commander games off the PlayStation Network store. I'm not sure if you can get them off the Xbox Live.
I mean, they look rough as hell, but still good fun to play.
This is a game that had full motion video in the mid 90s. You know, like big production, Hollywood production values. I mean, it had Luke Skywalker in it. It had Biff from Back to the Future in it.
Tom Wilson.
But I would really love to see that like Kev said, the space shooter genre come back in a really, really big way. And the other thing I kind of want to see come back is, I don't know how you'd even say it. Remember Gauntlet?
Yeah.
The original Gauntlet, not the shitty remakes and remasters that they've dropped.
Uh-huh.
But I want... well, I guess we do sort of have it with things like Diablo and a couple other games, but I kind of like that idea that I could have co-op between me and 3 other players going through the whole campaign. You know, not side mission co-op missions, but actually just sitting down and playing the core experience immediately with my friends.
Yeah.
Now, I would still want the ability to play by myself or play offline split screen. You know, not to say that I'm looking for always DRM type, always online type scenario, but I really like those top-down hack and slash co-op games. I really want more of those, and not just remake old games, like brand new.
Have you tried Path of Exile yet?
I have not.
Dude, it's free. I suggest download it, try it out, look at the skill tree in that game. It is insane. It is enormous. I can't put into words how big that skill tree is. Nice.
But I mean, those are the kind of things that I want, and I sort of want I don't know how to say it, but I mean, like, there's the current racing games that we have that are sort of arcadey, like the new Need for Speed, which is basically Burnout 2. I want more. You know what I want? I want a new Midnight Club. You know, just something where I can drive around the cities and boost behind people and jump off crazy jumps and have the heavy customization, but not be attached to the Need for Speed brand.
Yeah, I never played it. I don't really know anything about it.
Well, because the new Need for Speed has a lot of cool stuff, but there's just something about the feel of the Midnight Club series that made it my favorite series outside of Forza or Gran Turismo.
You got anything, Dave?
No, I'm good. I just want new IPs. I want somebody else to come up with something new. Impress me.
Yes, like a fantasy game, a fantasy RPG with, and wait, it'll blow your mind when I say this, no elves or dwarves.
Yeah. Or a God of War game set in another universe.
Yeah, God of War with Norse gods.
I really would love to see Kratos go to Valhalla or something.
Yeah. Or dude, you don't even have to have Kratos. You could just be one of the Norse gods, bastard children.
No, I still want to be Kratos. I just want this angry Greek man that is angry for no reason to turn up in Norway and go, I'm gonna kill all your gods.
That would be sweet. But we are starting to come up on the length. Oh, we just hit an hour, so we got to go. Before we go, we've got some shout outs from Dave.
Yay! From the iTunes section of the iTunes, we got AC Ellaby?
A Celebi. Is that a Pokemon reference?
I don't play Pokemon. From the US of A and Urok 7 and Smearl from the UK. If you would like some iTunes love, just give us some iTunes love and we'll reciprocate. This ain't no 68 situation where we'll owe you one later. You take care of us, we're gonna take care of you.
Give us some iTunes love. I promise we'll give you some love back. I don't know where that was going.
Yeah, I was waiting to see if you were going to recover. But
anyway, you can follow us all on Twitter. That's the thing you should do. Dave is at DaveBRB.
There's an underscore there.
Oh yeah, Dave_BRB. Not to be confused with Dave without an _BRB.
He's not as cool as I am. I think he tweeted.
To try and link to quite a lot. And
I think I clicked on that dude once when I was originally changing my name from Dave SG, and like that dude tweeted once.
Yeah, he's not a popular guy.
Either Dave that or he got blocked. I can't remember. It was either he got blocked or he got banned from Twitter or he tweeted once. I can't remember. It was one of those.
I'm at Krelith. And PacManPolarBear is at PacManPolarBear. In case you were wondering. Yeah, so we're up on iTunes and Android and all going on that stuff now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, so leave us a review on those, like BRB on Facebook, and subscribe to BRB TV on YouTube. I promise there will be more video content coming out over the next few months.
We just had one go up today. Yeah. The Tomb Raider Ramble.
Is that up now? That's good.
Yes, sir.
And just to round out the love for the people who hit up the Big Red Barrel site, shout-outs from the forums go to Dangerous Brian, Orox, who I guess
sounds good.
Got two shout-outs because left a iTunes review as well. Fire Muncher, Inspector Redwood, Bilbo Teabaggins, and Dearmid, and X88 MPH.
X88 miles per hour, baby. That's when you see that serious shit.
The X is for extreme.
Extreme. Hopefully, next week's episode will have a little more meaty topics in the agenda. I apologize for this week's being mostly just...
you don't got to apologize. Blame the gaming industry. That's who needs to apologize.
I blame the gaming industry for having a lackluster PAX for us to talk about. Hopefully, next week's show will have some more info that dropped from PAX, because I know there's a lot of closed doors press releases from developers to the journalists.
Weirdly, a week full of complete chuff news has resulted in our longest podcast yet.
Yep. and it's good, and it'll be a little longer if you have grabbed our app. You can listen to the bonus content that we will be recording in just a few moments.
Yep, and we actually have a topic this week, so hopefully it'll go as good as last week's bonus topic.
Haha. Anyway, that's it for this week's show. Thanks for tuning in. We will catch you next week.
Woo, another episode of the Burbcast in the bag.
Later.
Stay frosty.
The Burbcast.
You and your ears are quite welcome for the podcasting goodness that you just heard. Why not roll on over to BigRedBarrel.com for more podcasts, news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet, BigRedBarrel.com.